This show is being recorded for broadcast and streamed live for the internet. Please take a moment to silence your cell phone and remember, no flash photography.
Stand by on the floor. Ready cameras. Ready open. In 5, 4, 3, 2, track tape.
Red Star Union presents Behind the Album, returning with one of Boston's most acclaimed singer-songwriters, Will Dailey. 10 months ago, Will Dailey messaged his fans with a mission statement and the promise of new material born of a newfound independence from his label. Since then, and with tremendous fan support by way of a successful Pledge Music campaign, he hit the studio and recorded the songs that would become his eagerly anticipated new album, National Throat.
Sunken Ship, the opening song on the record. Is that a metaphor for the, major labels? I mean, there seems to be a couple songs. I mean, I want to jump overboard. I mean, there's
Steve,
some definite.
I like people to get what they want out of songs. But yes, it is exactly that.
Captain of a sunken ship, sunken in the shallow water, standing out on the bridge, still thinking. Oh, captain of a sunken ship.
And there's so many great new ideas in the business that I love and that just are far more fulfilling for being an artist. Not for being a millionaire, but for being an artist. And maybe artists being millionaires and us judging art by who's on the cover of what was the anomaly. And we all need to learn how to listen to music and judge art on its own merits individually.
And I want you to fly away. Oh, no, no, no. But I won't be around this way.
What is your secret for balancing time between tour, studio, writing, your wife, your daughter, and maybe sleeping?
You put your family first because, like I said, that's an experience. And as a songwriter, I'm going to get most of my meat from loving those people the most right now for the rest of my life.
How about Stand Where I Can See You?
When my daughter was born 2 years ago, I thought just about the stress of that. There's all these great father-daughter beautiful tunes, and those are fine, they've been written, but the whole aspect of Stand Where I Can See You, and also because part of the importance of your life kind of goes away. And, stand where I can see you because it's you I see through.
I cannot hold where the world's always on fire. And so all I ask of you is to stand where I can see you. Won't you stand where I can see you? 'Cause it is you, I see it through.
When I found out that she was coming, I had this song done. I had these 2 verses, and I needed a 3rd verse because I didn't have a bridge. It gets technical even though you're feeling this shit, And it was last year, and then the Newtown thing happened, and I was watching the president speak, and he said one of the parents told him when he met with them that it felt like their heart had left their chest when you have a kid. So then I had my 3rd verse. My heart has left my chest and it's dancing across the room. And I fear every obstacle and I marvel at every move.
My heart has left my chest and it's dancing across the room. I feel every obstacle and I marvel at every move.
songs, they're pretty autobiographical, or how deeply should people read into these things?
I mean, We Will Always Be a Band is a love story. It's a love story, it's a farce, you know, because we won't always be a band. You know that, and it's part of the delusion about anyone who's been in the band knows this crazy feeling. Like, just could it just come from one rehearsal where you called yourself a band? And it's, you can't, I've found no replacement for that, you know? I'm glad I don't have 15 bands because of it. And the guys and girls that I have been in bands with, it's a special delusional allegiance.
Well, I got all my best friends on stage with guitar in my hand. All of your worries one day be dust in the wind, but we will always be a band. We will always be a band. We will always be a band.
The line in that song, my last dollar will be spent keeping these lights on, doing the only thing that I can. And I presume that's playing music. What would you be doing if you weren't a musician? Where would we be seeing you?
I ask myself that every quarter.
Every
About 4 times a year, I explore my options. But you know what? I'm sitting here with Steve Morris right now, 10 years in. So it's the only thing this is, what do you want me to do?
Tom Morello asked us to come play one of his kind of get-together concerts. And my oil can guitar was in between Flea and Perry Farrell. And I'm took a picture of my guitar, talked to my guitar afterward, what was that like?
I got to go downtown. I miss you along the way. I miss your stripes, your lily whites that have turned dirty gray.
This stuff's gonna be interesting because we haven't played it as a band yet.
To play that bay, I'll miss the kiss of your crooked teeth, miss your pixie hair, 'cause I hate to see you suffering.
Before we talk about the album, we have to talk sort of about the writing of the album, and you wrote some of this and you sort of vetted it in a really unique way. You took these songs and played them in people's living rooms. Did you get really good feedback? Did that shape any of the songs?
I would try new songs, but aside from playing them to my family, I'd never played them in front of anyone before. So you would get a lot of information from how I was feeling kind of mid-song, if the song was holding up. And there were definitely songs where I was like, I was just sinking. It's like, this is a bad song.
Really?
Yeah, and so I would go home and either scrap it or retool it. But I would go over titles with people too. What do you think of them? Thinking this title, thinking this title. In Ann Arbor, I was getting ready to go down and came up with the bridge to a bridge in Dead Badger. There was already kind of this bridge outro, and then I stumbled upon, usually a mistake, you do the wrong chord and you're like, oh, maybe the song could go there.
Dead badger in the backseat, feel that. Know it's coming when the rain don't feel right. Little sister, all I want is just to see her right. Can we go collecting in a good night? She got picked up by a tour bus late one night. She was sleeping by a dog in a neon light. In the middle of nowhere, she said, let me off here.
It came from a true story of bumming around in the Sherburne Woods and hanging out by this old water tower and coming across this dead raccoon.
I'll bury that badger, but I won't bury it deep, just in case he starts to breathe.
And then you somehow are like, oh, this is the perfect metaphor for a relationship.
Yeah.
Yeah. Works out.
Yeah.
We're going to take some questions from Twitter with the hashtag Behind the Album.
The first one is, you've written a lot of songs that connect to the Occupy movement. Was that an important movement for you?
Yeah. I think that was a huge moment in our country's history.
Johnny was a chameleon when it was predominantly shrapnel from the chapel to the cabman. Johnny kissed the groom and go join the killing while Britain is watching her Watson.
Walking around Occupy was like my wet dream. It was like, oh my God, this is what I've been waiting for.
This can happen.
I just want to sit here in the gravel and...
I mind our time is too much, but it rains, and tolerance is our lives. A hard fight to be done, to be done, to be done, to be done.
The protest song has always been the most exciting genre for me to work with.
It's the United States of discrimination. The schools feed into the prisons. The corporations more powerful than the government. Give a teacher a banker's salary, see how that goes. See if we farm a land again in Kilimanjaro, it snows. You sleep, you're Egyptian and in 500 count there. What's the count of the dead? We are the eye of the needle, fixing the men, the squilt, the lies and lies ripped up on a bed. We're coming in quick, we got Angela Davis on our lips and Mandela in our head. We got an offer.
Even on a really dark moments in that song, there's an optimism to you and to that. Do you feel that kind of in that song?
Yeah, and I felt like that before with other songs too. I mean, even a song like CIA, a state radio song, it's like, people are like, well, these are party songs, and then you listen to the lyrics and like, wait, but maybe we shouldn't be partying? You know?
Yeah, right.
There's too much bad and grains of intolerance is our lives. A hard fight to be done, to be done, to be done, to be done.
One of the ones that I love is I Want You Like a Seatbelt, because it's a good metaphor. It's like perfect because you want to be held, but it's also a little sexual. You've got that like sort of that metaphor about like I want you right across my hips, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's something there. Yeah.
Maybe from the top you can see that I want you across my hips, passing low side in the middle of the woods, in the middle of the night. We let the world fall away, one kiss at a time.
And that song was just like, I was just goofing around with my kids, and you know, like I was singing that end, like la 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 la, you know, just goofing, and Sybil yelled down something like, "What is that?" I was like, "It's nothing." She was like, "Well, it's good. You should continue that." And when that happens, I know I stop and like, okay, like make note, because it's not every day she says, you know, "What is that?" That's good.
So we'll climb the highest hill in this town, and from there we'll see the sun and where it's going. Yes, from there we'll have a good look around and drink our pine needle tea.
What I love about Pine Needle Tea is, on that one, you just say, "I beg your pardon for all the stupid shit I do." Like I like you know, because you get into these complex things, and you're like, "How about this?"
Yeah, yeah.
Sorry about this. I'm kind of a shithead sometimes.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's you know, I wondered with that song, because that song is like this, like, you know, it tries to be very beautiful, and I think that lyric grounds it.
Yeah.
Even sang it for our friend's wedding, and I was like, well, I'm not going to sing that part. And she's like, no, that's like the part I want you to sing as she's walking down the aisle. I'm like, okay, you know, so.
Just wake me up before you leave. And I'll beg your pardon for all the stupid shit I'll do. And
And you worked with Brian Deck and Sam Beam, Iron and Wine. I'm wondering if, first working with him, were you like, this guy's a really good songwriter? Like, were you nervous about your own songs? Did you talk shop when you were working on it?
Yeah. I was nervous to talk to Sam in the first place. Brian had asked, we had kind of went after Brian to produce the record, and he came back to us. He's like, do you mind if Sam co-produces the record with me? And we said, I don't mind.
Yeah.
Sam pushed me to, I was telling the guys in the band today, for Walter, I just said, I was in there, strumming away, and he's like, or I was like, hey, Sam, I think I should just strum the chorus, and it can be like, and we can add some claps. And he was like, I think you have a lot of songs that are like that. It's like, okay.
Was there like hurt feelings a little bit, or
a little bit like, whoa, like, is that, yeah. I mean, it was like I was maybe us Pisces are sensitive. So yeah, but I was like, okay, I totally trust and respected him. So I ended up finger picking, but then a month later went out to Chicago and my pick and guitar and strummed all over the song.
I've been looking for a home since the day I was born. Reach out today, oh, reach out today for some mothers and fathers we don't have our own. We are eager for our first hello. We are eager for our first hello. Though we don't know exactly where we'll go. Oh, as I hear the wind shout.
And the horse Comanche, I didn't even know that there was a horse. That it actually came after.
Really?
It was just like two. I don't know, maybe subconsciously I knew, because after we started digging, we're like, oh my God, there actually is a horse Comanche. He's stuffed in a glass case at the University of Iowa.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, God. Are you going to see that on tour?
I'm going to go looking for him.
Yeah.
We're gonna break him out.
Put that right on top of the van.
Yeah.
And just roll. Yeah.
Yeah, imagine that, and like take turns riding him down the highway.
One more, JR. All night long now, all night long now. Thanks, Boston. Joy. Oh, baby. Thank you.
Thank you for coming to the Behind the Album series. I want to bring them out. Girls, Guns, and Glory. So the new album is called Good Luck. I mean, this is a little departure for you guys, a little more rock and roll, a little bit less country, although you still have the country roots quite a bit. Built for speed. This is a kind of a wild one.
That was a co-write with the band. We were down in Nashville, and we wound up with a couple days off. So we set up our stuff in a garage, and we'd been listening to so much early rock and roll at that point that like it was just in our heads. So Paul starts just vamping on this bass line, and Josh comes in on the drums, and and Chris starts playing this like siren. I had this idea of Built for Speed for a while. The whole idea of of women and fast cars.
Or talking about something by not talking about it.
Right.
You know, you're talking about this car that's built for speed, but you're not really talking about that.
Pulled off the highway and she started to shout, "Thanks for driving, honey, oh baby, let me out."
The next song is Come On Honey. It stemmed from all of you guys were out with your significant others, apparently, and
Yes. All four of us.
You all had some problems that night, and
You want this one, Paul? Or you want me to
I don't know, man.
When we get together and go out on a town, we'll go to a party at your sister's house.
Paul, did you have to rescue these guys, or
Well-
you were having a better night than they were? Huh?
I did not have a girlfriend at the time. And it was the end of the night, and Crystal's like, "Where the heck is Ward?" I'm like, "Oh, he's right over there talking to Parker Posey. He's been talking to her for like an hour." And then that ended that conversation. Yeah. And then it was time to go for everybody somehow.
Yeah, there was an issue for all of us, but we got a great song out of it.
Come on, honey, don't you be like that. Come on, honey, don't you be like that. Come on!
You have a variety of band members over the years. What keeps your current group together?
Good question.
Good luck.
Paychecks? No.
Good luck.
We've learned to understand each other. We actually get along. You know, we don't fight about stupid things. If we do, you know, we get over it. And, you know, I think we have common interests and common goals. And, you know, have just developed a way to understand and work with each other.
Oh, I am an alibi. I'm your resource. I am a distant planet's orbit changing course. You are an art museum with abstract open doors.
It's more of a real solid band record. I mean, that's obviously by design.
Definitely.
Can you
It
comment
is.
on that?
You know, we started writing songs, and we actually started writing songs as a band that were rock songs. They were rock and roll.
We basically tried to get whole takes as much as we can. And so we would do one song, and then it would be time for, you know, fix a couple little vocal things, maybe throw the guitar solo or a piano on a tune.
Mm-hmm.
And then we would move on to the next song.
Yeah, I'd say it was definitely almost a live album in a sense, because every song, like we played as a group every song, and that was the take as a group, and then we just kind of added things that needed to be added or fixed. But I think it's the closest album that we've made that sounds like us live so far.
Our biggest thing with this band is to build something, you know, on a grassroots level. Like, rather than depend on anybody else, you know, create something ourselves that, you know, because we're going to be here. I mean, if this band has shown anything, it's going to weather whatever storm, you know, comes our way.
Thank you.
If you ain't made it now, you're never gonna make it. 17 people in the dark tonight.
The first song on July is Drive, and from the very beginning it begins with the lyric, if you ain't made it now, you're never going to make it. 17 people in the dark.
There's a lot of ups and downs to one's career, and I think when I wrote that, I was feeling one of the downs. So yeah, I think that there's a lot of truth to that line, and I thought starting the record with it was like a confrontational and exposing lyric that kind of pulled off the veil of the mystique from my earlier records.
More than your man could, waiting for the light, waiting for the light.
What I like about that song too is that when you get to the chorus, there's sort of this tone shift, and it seems a little bit brighter.
Yeah, well, I think there's a little bit of the misconception with some of my songwriting is that it's exclusively dark and melancholy, and I think within that song especially there's a contrast within the song itself where the chorus is talking about all the reasons that one keeps doing something regardless of maybe like material rewards.
Nothing like the way it feels, nothing like the way it feels to drive. Still remember all the words to every song you ever heard.
Very quickly you get personal in July. By the third song, Firecracker, you're at this sort of, it's like a heartbreaking, brilliant breakup song.
Firecrackers burned into heaven on the floor.
When I was younger, I was really afraid of being this like confessional singer-songwriter because I thought it was so trite and really kind of cheesy. I just said I don't want to be like writing these lame confessional songs, and so I was pretty pretentious, I think, when I started writing music, and I was at RISD and putting Pablo Neruda and Edgar Allan Poe to music, and my first, you know, like looking back on it, it's a kind of a pretty vibe, but it definitely pigeonholes me into like this gothic thing.
I don't call you up at night, 'cause baby, you're a ghost and I have changed.
I realized all the songs I really like are first-person confessional, like the ones that really hit home. So, because there's such a fine line between sincerity and sentimentality that you have to walk, where you can, you know, like Joni Mitchell Blue, for instance, like does that so well because she's bearing her soul, but it's not really cheesy at all because of the grit of the lyrics.
Changed in a rest stop into my dress.
I've Got Your Name opens with this scene of you or somebody. I'm going to say you.
It's
but
me,
I don't know
yeah.
who it is, right? Changing in a rest stop.
I've done that kind of thing before.
My boyfriend and I were broken up at the time, and I was going to meet somebody else, and I'm changing in a rest stop. It's a very unglamorous lifestyle. Like half the clubs, you don't have green rooms. I just didn't touch my feet to the floor, which is in the song. So yeah.
You stop calling all together. I'll maybe another feather, but I got your name.
Part of the new record is honing in on those moments, fine-tuning my writing so that it's, more realistic.